The Supreme Court on Monday heard a batch of petitions related to the ongoing violence in the northeastern state of Manipur. While hearing the pleas, a bench led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud made it clear that it cannot take the law and order apparatus in its hand to douse the violence. It also added that the platform should not be used to escalate further violence in Manipur. So in a way, Supreme Court said and felt that the august office should not be misused. And in other developments, from ground zero, one policeman lost his life while at least 10 people were injured on Monday following an overnight violent clashes in Manipur's West Kangpoki area. According to officials, sound of indiscriminate firing from Phayang and Singda villages were heard. Officials fear that there could be more casualties from both sides. Assam Rifles manages a buffer zone between the two villages. At least 2 civilians and a state force personnel were injured in a separate attack by suspected Kuki militants Saturday in Bishnupur district. It's also being reported that ethnic groups are using quadcopters to target each other in the violence at state. Quadcopters have been put to extensive use by the two warring communities where the villages face each other. The security forces, meanwhile, have created buffer zones at these places to keep the agitated protesters away. And court heard multiple issues today. One was on the internet. Another issue of the court was about the status report. The High Court has also asked the Manipur government to consider providing broadband connectivity through fiber to home house. There are multiple issues, but my question is, into the point, is Manipur normal? A lot of things have been claimed in the status report. Is Manipur normal?
Not at all, Karthike, and I think the sporadic incident of violence which is going on, which continues unabated, puts a serious question mark on the kind of effort that has been being done on the ground to restore normalcy in the state of Manipur. I think what the Supreme Court today, the apex court, what it said marks a very significant angle as far as the entire violence which is going on. They said like they cannot control the law and order apparatus, and it is the duty of the state to control the law and order is a state subject. And it increases the responsibility of the state to ensure that all these violence which is going on is controlled. The issue of weapons which have been looted or given away, as many reports have claimed, still remains out, and they haven't been returned to the police or the army, and that causes a major challenge, as a significant challenge as far as controlling violence in the state of Manipur is concerned.
Let's go to Mr. Suhas Chakma. Mr. Chakma, there are reports which are also coming from the valley. His director writes in the risk analysis group that even police who have been divided on the Meitei Kuki line, they are going to their Kuki Meitei dominated areas. Is this correct, sir? Or is just a false narrative?
It's not the
Mr.
false
Suhas.
narrative. I think it's the correct narrative, and the society has been completely divided along the Meitei and Kuki ethnic lines. The officers who belong to the Kuki community, they are no longer serving or are not in a position to serve with the government of the day in the Imphal Valley. So separation of the state between the Meiteis and the Kukis have already taken place. It's not our saying, it's the saying of the Chief Minister Biren Singh, who had already spoken about him being given the responsibility for the valley and Home Ministry being given the responsibility for the hills. So that is an acknowledged fact. What is more unfortunate is that you do not have a government in the state. The edifice of the state structure has collapsed. The fourth largest army in the world cannot prevent the violence which is taking place. And you have the Prime Minister completely silent. And today, of course, the Supreme Court saying that because it's a law and order situation,
but
we cannot
Mr.
intervene.
Suhas, isn't it unfair to blame it on the army? Because, army is not part of the political process. It's the job of the politician. I think the responsibility lies on the door of Biren Singh, not Indian Army.
No, absolutely, it lies with the Biren Singh, but we have to remind ourselves that, Article 355 of the Constitution had been imposed from 6th May. So, I mean, there is a direct role of the central government. So, it's not only the Biren Singh. Biren Singh is directly responsible, but at the same point of time, the Home Minister himself as well as the Prime Minister are equally responsible. So, when I was talking about the Indian Army, it's not Indian Army per se. What I was talking about, the entire Indian state has collapsed or doesn't exist as far as the as far as the Manipur situation is concerned. So we have a situation where fourth largest army, we pride ourselves, But the society has divided in such a manner that they cannot control the violence. Just because there are no increase in the number of killings doesn't mean that this situation is normal. The situation is absolutely divided, and because there are no attempts from the Union of India as well as the state government, as you have rightly said in the beginning, and that Biren Singh is part of the problem. He is the liability, and if the center doesn't see beyond Biren Singh because of their political calculations, then of course basically the entire people of Manipur have been left to themselves, whether they want to turn it to Burundi or Rwanda or former Yugoslavia. It's the same situation you have seen the ethnic feelings in the African region as well as in the heart of Europe in 1990s. So that's the same situation which is prevailing in Manipur, and we don't want to acknowledge it for whatever reason. That we are not taking cognizance of the fact that 125 people or more than that have been killed, about 70,000 people have been displaced, and nowhere you would see the government of India is talking about the rehabilitation package for rehabilitation and resettlement of the displaced people. So they have given ex gratia for those killed, those who were injured. But somebody who has lost everything and is not in a position either to return to the valley or in the hills, how he or she is going to start the normal life. And once they are not able to start the normal life, there is no assistance from the center, then of course the whole alienation starts, the whole feelings of hatred comes in, then the alienation continues and the fighting continues. And today, if you look at Manipur, they are no longer fighting against it's not for rights to be scheduled tribe or rights for autonomy in the hills. It's about how many Métis could be killed or how many Kukis could be killed, and it's absolutely unfortunate situation. And people in both sides have lost the vision completely.
Brijesh, you tell me, is Manipur safe today?
Karthikeya, I don't think Manipur is safe. And if you go by the government's attempt that that they started schools and all, the fear is palpable, as is very clearly reflected in the attendance of those schools. Kids are sparsely coming to those schools, and people realize the risk it poses to those children as well as teachers who are conducting classes in those schools. The divide between the Kuki and Maitis group is so wide and so divisive right now as we speak, Karthikeya, that any thought of peace between the two community right now is aiming for the moon. And the fact is that it's a political process. It's a process which has to be started by the state administration and backed up suitably by the central administration. I think until unless a proper political dialogue starts with under the leadership of someone who both community trust, the chances of arriving at peace looks very far-fetched. The other non-actors have to get in. There has to be a track to all leaders, eminent leaders from both sides have to join in. People who everybody trusts have to join in before we can see or start seeing any semblance of peace returning. But right now, Manipur is forget being safe, is far from safe.
Okay, Dr. Tara, am I audible to you? Again, going back to Mr. Dongal, there are a couple of other things. Dr. Dongal, I also want to know that why are these incidents taking place? 10 injured in Kangpoki, 3 injured in Bishnupur, a truck has been burned. The government claims that things are coming back to normalcy, but where are these events taking place?
Yeah, like we said time and again, although we want peace to set in the state of Manipur, the divide and the enmity has gone so deep, the fault line has been drawn so wide that returning to normalcy or otherwise resemblance of peace at this hour is far from realization. Now we have also seen the incidents that had happened yesterday, and also previously on Saturday there was burning of trucks, which was touted as carrying relief materials to the Kuki inhabited areas. So that's why this truck was burned down. Now, when you see the state chief minister saying relief materials have been provided to all the districts, all the affected districts, and also those people in the relief camps, we also have seen how ground reality it is different, and also any intent from the valley towards the hill areas as a sign of good gesture to to provide food materials or relief materials has been hijacked in the valley, or anything that moves from valley to the hills. And also the killings that happened yesterday, like I said, let me reiterate it again, how the Métis women have blamed the Assam Rifles. Now we have seen how prior to this there was dismantling of the bunkers, even in the valleys and also in the hill areas. Now, after the bunkers were dismantled, violence erupted again. Now, I don't see, I don't see dismantling of bunkers as a roadmap to peace. So therefore, the number of deaths that you talk about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is a death case which happened in Khamenlok, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I'm misinformed. So it's an old one where 9 people died and then several hurt. That was in Khamenlok way back in, I think, early June. Whereas the recent most incident was the killing of a Métis guy who was believed to be a police in the Manipur police commando, who was shot dead, and the Métis women are blaming the Assam Rifles. We don't exactly know, the confrontation is between the Assam Rifles or the valley-based insurgents or militants, or otherwise the cookies. Nevertheless, there is violence. Violence has not subsided in the state of Manipur. And we have also seen how National Federation of Indian Women wing, the CPI wing, women wing, CPI women wing, National Federation of Indian Women, 3 women went to Churachandpur and then several other districts and reported on the violence in the state of Manipur. And just because of they reporting that the chief minister was involved, FIR was filed against him. He was a state sponsored. Just because of that, they were. FIR was filed against them, and not only them, but several other Kuki leaders. So therefore, the trust deficit is definitely deep, and I don't see, any sign of peace, dialogue, or otherwise a negotiation coming soon at this juncture.
Are you confident enough to go back to Imphal, Dr.
I'm not
Tara?
at all confident. Being a cookie, no, at this moment, at this stage, no, because I'm a cookie. I'm being termed as a cookie, so I have no this thing confident of ever going back to Imphal right now in this current situation, because it is not safe for me, because I'm a cookie. So if I land up in Imphal airport tomorrow, then I will be killed the moment I landed up there. So how can you call it safe for me?
So are you saying that Manipur
Just
is
for
not
the
safe?
simple reason, because I'm a cookie.
Are you saying that the Manipur
No,
is not
how
safe?
can it be safe? Because
Why?
Manipur is not safe for the cookie.
Why do you say that? It is also not safe for the Maiti. It is not safe for the both, if I have to say that. Why only one community? Even Nagas are there.
No, what happened is that, especially for, it is not safe for everybody there, because there is shooting going on, there is unrest going on, there is turmoil going on. So everybody is fighting every day. So there is still no peace. So I can say it is not safe for me, a cookie, to go and land up in Imphal tomorrow by plane.
But there has to be a reason. You have been ex-member Manipur ST State Commission. You have been a senior political functionary. If you don't take the lead, who else?
No, I would like to take the lead in bringing peace to my beloved state, because I'm a peace-loving people, and we have suffered enough for these 2 months, and we want peace to return. So I would like to broker peace here. Of course, if I have to be in a peace committee, I will surely grab it up and then take it ahead. But since I'm not in that position to take up peace myself, because we are common people today, nobody approached us to broker peace between the Métis and the Cookies. So, but my request is that even the common layman, now I'm a layman person because I have been chased away from my home and I have to take refuge in Delhi. So how can I call myself safe to go back to Imphal and initiate a peace process? If a peace process have to be initiated, it will have to be in a safer place where I will be safe. A cookie woman will be safe.
Can you just take us through what happened? How did you escape Imphal? Can you just take us through that?
Pardon, can you repeat the question?
how did you escape Imphal? Can you take us through that experience? Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah. On the third night, when we were chased out of our burning houses, we have to literally flee our house with just the clothes that we have. With about 20 members of us, family members, only our family members of 20 members, consisting of a mother who's 86 years old and a granddaughter who's just 1.5 years old. So what happened is that we have to literally run out of our burning houses because the mob has entered our compound and they were attacking our cars. We lost 5 cars that day. They started attacking, and then we have to literally run out of the house with just the clothes that we have on our back, and we did not carry anything. So the whole night from 8:30 till 2:30, the ordeal took place, and we were taken safely to the army camp only by 2:30 a.m. in the morning.